Where I want. I'm not going to lie. I miss Rook's stupid face.
A little bit.
Oh, man. But it's
too
me
busy for us.
It's way too busy, but it's me and it's TJ. And thinking about our buddy who's not here.
I will remember you.
I'm Nick. That's TJ. And we're thinking of you, Rook. Interesting week of sports this week. Just so you're all tracking, this is a pre-recorded dealie. So we're sorry we're not live this week. I got a little extra work stuff going on, but we're here to entertain regardless, because that's what we do, and that's what the people clamor for. They're out there in the streets just saying, "Addicts, give me some." So we're here to give.
They're crack addicts. They're not scoreboard addicts like us. I mean, they got the track marks to prove it. They're scratching away. It's rough out there in them streets, but I mean, if I could sell my brand of sports, commentary like crack sells in this country, I'd be a pretty rich man.
I just want everybody to know that you don't inject crack into your veins. That's heroin.
Yeah, whatever, dude. I mean, some of us know about those things, and other of us, are choir boys.
That's a lot of Degrassi, my friend, and they do a lot of drugs on that show. Those Canadians are crazy, eh? Speaking of Canadians, cheers, Gov.
Cheers. Damn Canadians. Racist bastards. Put the only black kid on the show in a wheelchair. Man can't even walk with freedom. Bullshit.
Man, Canada is wild. All that being said, it's an important and special time here in Canada right now. And that brings us to our first segment of the show. Wow, thanks to our producer for putting that together. I appreciate that. That was very kind, wasn't it? I love the little transition video.
I think Hoop's killing it.
I'm telling you, man, Mr. Producer, I tip my cap to you. That was a beautiful thing. More beautiful is the Stanley Cup playoffs have started.
Oh, baby.
And our New York Rangers are up 1-0 against the New Jersey Devils. Rook's favorite team.
Yeah, Rook's New Jersey Devils.
Now, I still love him regardless, because God said, hate the sin, not the sinner. I still love you, Rook, but the Devils are going down.
I mean, what do you expect when you got a kid from New Jersey? I mean, he can't make left turns because his state frowns upon that thing. It's just not allowed. People get all freaked out. It's like, oh, what do you mean you want to go left? You go right to go left out here. It's just chaos. So, I mean, it's a backwards ass place. They root for the Devils. To each their own. But luckily, the Rangers were triumphant last night. 5-1 victory. An excellent game. Excellent game, dude.
Yeah, I unfortunately missed the game. I had a thing I had going on. Neither here nor there, but I'm always happy to see a good Rangers win. So obviously, a couple players came out hot. Chris Kreider, 2 goals last night. Panarin with a couple of assists.
Fox with 4 assists, baby.
There you go. Adam Foxy.
Dude, and then that Lindgren goal was it was a thing of beauty. We often say that we don't care how the puck goes in. We will take a garbage goal. It all that matters is getting the W and putting up more on the score sheet, right? But my God, when you have Lindgren come in and just kind of fake the goalie out, make him move his head just a little bit, and then roof it top shelf.
I was gonna say top shelf, and he got a little razz from
Dude.
Shesty after the game.
Yeah.
Shesty gets the Broadway hat, and he defers, and he says, "I don't want the Broadway hat. I don't deserve the Broadway hat." And he gives it to Lindgren, and the reason was, I always told Lindy he couldn't score one above the knee.
Yep.
And tonight he did, so he gets the hat tonight.
Dude, roofed it. Absolutely roofed it. That goal was a thing of beauty.
Did you catch that clip by any chance?
Yes, I did. I watched it this morning. Love it. I love the momentum this team has going into the playoffs. I love how they're gelling. I think they're, for half the team, more than half the team, they've been there before last year. So young kids with a little bit of street cred when it comes to the playoffs, right? Like going in with a little bit of experience. It's a kind of veteran locker room at this point when it comes to the playoffs, and you love to see it. I think the only thing that killed me was obviously that bullshit penalty. I didn't think it was a penalty shot. I didn't think it was a penalty. I thought Jack Hughes was in the process of losing the puck, but I am biased, so whatever it is, watching Jack Hughes get his first playoff point against Igor on a penalty shot kind of really irked me. I wanted him to get the shutout, but it is what it is. What are you going to do? Jack Hughes is a tremendous talent. There's really not much. I mean, one-on-one, he's going to score more often than not. Igor Shesterkin, one of the best, if not the best goalie in the league right now. But Jack Hughes is just a phenomenal goal scorer, quick as hell, and has a tremendous aptitude for moving that puck around, fast and furious. It's insane. His hands are Connor McDavid-like.
But with regard,
I hate him though.
with regard to that being called a penalty, and we basically just have this to say. We're declaring shenanigans on the entire process. It's shenanigans. That's all it is.
But shakalaka. But yeah, listen, good victory. You want to go out there, get the first one, especially on the road, set the tone a little bit. A little bit of nastiness, but I think the Rangers controlled the pace of play very well, considering the Devils are the faster team. A couple things that I think you can kind of rag on a little bit. I thought Miller was he let a couple plays get past him. I mean, I get it. It's a fast team. He's defense. People are going to get by you. But it seems like he gets beat a little too much for my liking lately. And I'm not trying to rag on Miller. I think he's tremendous. He's a great talent.
He does a lot of
awesome young defenseman. But he's letting a little bit too many people by him. And it's cause for concern because the Devils will hurt you. The Devils actually had more scoring chances last night than the Rangers. It's just that we have a better goaltender. And that's going to be huge in the series because the Devils are faster than us. They have a little bit of youth on us. I think offensively, we have a little more talent as far as goal scoring goes with Mika and Panarin and with the addition of Kane. But the Devils can definitely hurt you with their speed. So you kind of got to play catch up with them. And the first thing you want to do is kind of box them out a little bit, kind of put them into the boards, put a body on them, and especially Jack Hughes. Somebody has to body Jack Hughes, and I'm not trying to sit here and be one of these fans that are like, so he needs to wreck him. I hope Trouba wipes him out and ends his career. Not in that way. But you do have to put arms on him. You do have to put, a little bit of hip and shoulder action on the guy and slow him down a little bit. He's not a big man. He's fast, and the way to counteract fast is with just force, blunt force. Throw a body in front of him, knock him down a little bit, slow him down a little bit, and just be effective that way.
Yeah, I don't think Jack Hughes has gotten to that point where he's crossed into that Crosby and part of the world for me because me, I'm a hater. I'm a full-fledged hater with every ounce of me. I'm one of those people that's just like I hope that guy gets boarded into next year and we never see him again. But Jack Hughes isn't there. He's not.
No, not at all. Listen,
guys that I can't stand though. And
no, listen, we're not talking about
okay with it.
We're not talking about Brad Marchand, where I'm sitting there like, I hope the peanut guy comes down from the stands and two-hands him.
The peanut guy from the peanut gallery.
Just out of nowhere. Just like, oh, man, that guy has a family. He's going to lose his job, but he went for it, folks.
I would love to see the crime scene after that. But
I think in any circle, if Jack Hughes was skating down the ice, and a peanut guy came out of nowhere, hip checked him, and said, "How about these nuts?" I think even a Devil fan can appreciate that.
Yeah, I you know what is wild? New York Rangers and Devils are having watch parties all around the city, and there is one for the game Thursday.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if you're interested in watching the watch party for the Rangers, it's actually it's in a public area. They're doing it over at Treadwell Park downtown. So you just go and you register, and you just go there, have a good time with other Rangers. It's always good to be around other Rangers fans doing Rangers stuff. It's always awesome to high five a stranger.
I agree. The only problem is you do have to watch the occasional homeless guy wandering in and just taking a poop amongst the fans. It's going to happen. It's a public area. It's New York City. Listen, you might high five a guy who's in the middle of a squat.
Listen. I see that at the Garden too. The only difference is he's not homeless. He's a sanitation worker, and he's just wasted. So he's just taking a shit in the middle of the fucking aisle in MSG because he couldn't wait for a stall.
I don't know who that guy is.
At least he didn't go on the ice. But yeah, it's always good to go get out there. I had a question for you though, with regard to the beating that we put on the Devils last night. It was a garbage time goal scored by the kids. All right, I think Kako got the assist, and Heedle scored the goal. What do garbage time goals mean to you? Is that just like that doesn't count as garbage time as empty netter?
They definitely count, dude. In a game like last night, they don't count as much, right? I'm not saying that as far as the goal means nothing. It means something, but in a 2-1 or 3-2 game, a game that's in reach, you want to put it out of reach as soon as possible. So you want to get that empty netter, and you want to put the game out of reach. I think the game was out of reach either way last night by the time they pulled the goalie and left the net empty. So it doesn't matter as much, but you always want to hammer that nail in the coffin. And you just want to, dude, it's the last dagger. You know what I mean? It's the double tap, if you will, on the zombie. You got to do it. You need it. It's good for morale. Every which way. It doesn't matter if it bounces off the glass and goes in, or off the boards, or if it's a luck chuck and it happens to go in. I personally like when guys are dicks about it and pass to each other because everybody wants to be selfless. And then, you usually get a scuffle after that, if there's 6 or 7 passes and finally somebody puts it in. But, yeah, dude, you love seeing him go in, especially after all the disallowed goals the Rangers seem to have not go their way.
Hurtful.
It is. It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous. I just went Harry Potter on your asses. Rangers play at home. I believe the next game's at home. I actually could. No, I take it back. It's at the Rock. Thursday, 7:30, 6:30.
Not for nothing. You didn't get to watch. Oh, I'm getting arrested. You didn't get to watch the game, but we invaded like we normally do, dude. And there's a reason why we invade the Rock. It's because I believe Game 3 in MSG, the last seat in the Garden is going for about $450 a ticket. Compared to the Rock, where you could pretty much sit lower ice for that. I mean, the tickets have gone up. The Devils have been playing well. But it's not like it's crazy it used to be when I went back in 2008 and I got tickets down by the ice for less than $300, 4 rows from the ice. But it's still, the value is there, and it's a train ride, dude. It's a little bit of a commute into friggin' New Jersey, into the heart of Newark. Okay, you may have to worry about your car and your cars being there when you get out of the game. But it's always good to save a little bit of money and watch your team beat the shit out of the other team in their home ice and just piss their fans off in general.
You know, the difference between MSG and the Rock is, in fact, that you can bring your car there. You know what? The money you save on tickets, you can spend on parking. And they have pretty good security over at the Rock. I don't like the inside of their actual your neighborhood being safe, guy. 2 blocks from me. You might want to.
I don't know what's going on, man.
Living on the wrong side of the highway, my friend.
Speaking about the wrong side of the highway, the Islanders are down 1-0 to the Carolina Hurricanes, and they're playing right now. And I believe, yep. Not only are they down 1-0 in the series, game 2, they're down 1-0 to Carolina right now. Game got a little physical in the first period. I was watching. I am still a hockey fan, and it's been a good series so far. This game is already getting rough, and you have Matt Martin out there gooning it up as usual. I'm sorry. I'm sick of people telling me that he's a serviceable player, that he's not just he's a goon. He is. He's just a goon. He's out there to just try to hurt somebody and get physical. And I'm not saying I have a problem with that, but don't try to use Matt Martin as a guise of an all-around good player. Don't try to label him as like a Jeremy Roenick, where, yeah, he'll score, he'll get an assist and get into a fight. Like, he's not that guy. He's out there just to get physical. That's it.
Even Tom Wilson probably puts up a little bit better stats than Matt Martin.
Tom Wilson offensively is definitely better than Matt Martin.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And I can't stand his stupid face. That's one of those people that if he never played hockey again, I'd be okay with it.
I think Matt Martin, maybe the worst things happen to like New York sports media if you're a Ranger fan, because I used to love listening to Boomer and Carton and now Boomer and Gio. And then all of a sudden, Matt Martin married Boomer Esiason's daughter, and Boomer had to like go a little soft and like be like, oh yeah, the Islanders are cool too because my son-in-law plays for them, and his livelihood and my daughter's livelihood depends on him, you know, being relevant. So let me ease up a little bit. But like 8 years ago, Boomer Esiason would be like, let's burn it down. We're going to burn it all down. Fuck Long Island. Fuck them all. Boomer, don't you live out there? I don't give a shit.
With regard to the Islanders being kind of cool, once again, declared once again shenanigans. You know,
I can't hear you pressing the button, by the way.
Say again?
I don't hear it on my end.
No. Oh, no. Okay, my bad. I apologize. My mistakes. I feel bad now.
I keep waiting, and then I'm not hearing it. And I'm like,
oh, I'm doing my best to declare shenanigans, and it just, for whatever reason, is deciding not
it doesn't
to.
want to allow you to declare shenanigans. But
Exactly.
yeah, dude. Around the horn in hockey, let's see what we got here. Give me 1 second. You got Boston up one game. They beat the shit out of Florida. I don't want to say beat the shit out of Florida. They beat them 3-1. Florida put up a good fight. Florida got physical with them, which you want to see. Especially, you hope they go 7 games and kind of pound each other a little bit. Tampa Bay Lightning shellacked Toronto. They put up 7 goals. I think it was like, hold on, 7-3, dude.
That's pretty bad.
7-3. And then
Baseball score right there.
yeah, seriously. Like, bad. They kind of pounded them a little bit. And then let's go West Coast. I haven't been really watching West Coast, but then again, the games are on a little later. I don't tend to care too much. Avalanche up 1-0 against Seattle up 1-0 against Colorado Avalanche. They won the game 3-1. So good for the Kraken getting a win over Colorado. Your reigning Stanley Cup champs. Wild game the other night between Minnesota and Dallas. That was a fun game. That got physical. Huge hits, controversy, anger, a lot of momentum going into tonight's game, 9:30 p.m. Again, we're right now it's Wednesday. We're a day ahead. Sorry. So you guys know the score already. It's like you're living in the future. Good for you guys. But I'm looking forward to that game if I can stay awake. Starts at 9:30.
Is hockey the fastest, the easiest game to turn it around? Like, as far as a franchise? Because look, the Kraken are already in the playoffs. I feel like the Texans still haven't made the playoffs.
It depends how you're phrasing the question, because I think the NBA is the easiest way to turn around a franchise. Just look at buying super teams. If you have the money, you could turn your team around in literally 3 strokes of the pen, bring people in, give them max contracts, and you can put yourself in a position to win and go to a championship. I think hockey has the potential. I think hockey has the most room for when young players hit their prime or like hit that stride of figuring out the NHL and getting kind of reaching their potential. I think hockey, you see a drastic change from year to year when young players reach their potential and all of a sudden become assist machines or scoring machines. They just take off running. It slow starts very often. They're all not going to be Connor McDavid and the Crosbys and the Ovechkins of the world. Even look at Jack Hughes last year. I wouldn't say he was anything to write home about, but this year absolutely turned it on, and he still has a shit ton of room to grow. I hate that I keep using him as an example, but he's fucking good, man.
Yeah, well, it ends with Jack Hughes, unfortunately. Switching it up a little bit, and we're going to go with
Whiskey of the Week.
What do you drink this week?
Ooh, all right. So this week, I got a nice bottle of Buffalo Trace. But it's not just a regular bottle of Buffalo Trace. This is a single barrel select. It is a store pick. Going to give some love to Rook's neck of the woods, the state of New Jersey, passing through, getting a little bit cheaper gas on my way home after playing golf. Stopped in a liquor store, Garden State Beer, Wine, and Spirits, right off of Convery Boulevard in Perth Amboy, right over the outer bridge, the first exit over the outer bridge if you're coming from Staten Island into Jersey.
Nice plug.
They have this beautiful bottle sitting there. I don't know if I'm supposed to give out prices or not, but let's just say normally, especially in the New York, New Jersey area, most people charge above MSRP, and this bad boy's sitting there at MSRP. So if you care to figure out what that is, it is a very good price on this bottle. And it is a store pick. It's a single barrel select. They picked out their own barrel in the store, had it bottled for them. And I got to tell you, very impressed with it. That's why it's my whiskey of the week. I'll give you some nosing notes. It's a sweetness. It's a light caramel, but the sweetness reminds me more of like walking into a candy store, like where they're making it reminds me of going to the confectionery in Disney on Main Street. Like when you walk in there and you just get hit with that sugar smell. It's got a sugar smell sweetness on it like that. And then you get, obviously, the little bit of oak from the barrel, a little bit of spice. Oh, man. And that's the one thing. Again, if you don't know, when you do a barrel select, it's coming out of a single barrel. There's no blending. They're not going for a flavor. So this bottle, by far, versus any other Buffalo Trace I've ever had, has a nice spiciness to it. Like a little bit of bite, but a good spiciness that I've never had. Usually Buffalo Trace is like overly smooth. And I'm not trying to say that this isn't smooth. It's very smooth, but there's just a spiciness on it. Like you get a nice, maybe that the wood barrel. It's delicious. You get the sweetness right away, a little bit of vanilla, and then like a, what's that spice that it's almost like black licorice?
Nutmeg?
No. Oh, it leaves a lingering flavor, like almost like if you ever had anisette. What is that? Anise? Is that like where you get that flavor from?
Yeah.
It just has that little bit of, I don't want to say mintiness to it, but like a little bit of almost like a hint of licorice, but absolutely delicious. I love this. 45 proof. 45% alcohol by volume, 90 proof, Buffalo Trace, single barrel select. This is barrel number 350 if anybody's going to shoot out to that store and pick this up. Excellent selection over there. I was very impressed. I am going to be continuing to be a customer of that store. So what do you got going for us today, Nick?
I am drinking our WWF, that's Whiskey with Friends, award-winning Woodford Reserve Double Oaked. I think I've drank this before on our show, but, I am not out here trying to buy 30 bottles of whiskey a month. I don't drink to that level, but Woodford Reserve Double Oaked is very good.
Dogs. It's fine. Like I'm not sitting right here. Yeah, I get it. I have a problem. Jesus.
This is actually 45.2% alcohol by volume. About 90 proof. I'm not going to get into the weeds about the flavors. It's a good smooth whiskey. If you want to find out the flavors, go buy yourself some. Wow. Have it in a glass. Drink it up. Real nice. I am not a whiskey connoisseur like my friend Thomas over there.
I just make it up as I go along.
Telling you about sugars and confectionaries and everything else under the sun. I honestly have no idea what any of the stuff he mentioned tastes like.
Legitimately, dude, honestly, from watching other cheers, by the way, from watching other people rate and review bourbons, because that's what I like to do. I like to watch in my spare time, just to get an idea of like something I might want to track down, or a bourbon that sounds like it fits my palate. But it's just your palate. Just because I say this is what it tastes like doesn't mean that you're going to get those flavors. It's just giving you a roundabout idea of the flavors. You can't be wrong. It's not like, I mean, I can sit here and hand a Pappy Van Winkle 15 to somebody that absolutely despises whiskey, and they're going to take a sip and be like, that tastes like shit covered with ass. And I'm going to be like, dude, it's weird. You know those flavors, but I think you're wrong. You know what I mean? It's subjective.
Yes, it is. And that being subjective moves us on to our next segment. I love it. Thanks again to our producer on that one. This week, Yankees play the Angel, Shohei Ohtani in town. The show, if you want to call it Showtime or whatever it is. Shohei Ohtani not pitching against the Yankees because, well, the Yankees are his daddy, and he does not fare well under the bright lights of New York City. He hit some home runs
on purpose. So you think that's his decision, or you think that's the team's decision to protect him a little bit?
Honestly, sometime lately, and I'm biased because I'm a fan. Lately, I've been seeing certain players who some teams consider stars play against New York teams, and they've decided not to play them. I'm looking at you, Justin Fields, and how the Bears protected you during football season from getting your ass handed to you by the Jets. And Shohei Ohtani does not have a good track record pitching at Yankee Stadium. So, with their 6-man rotation that they have going down there in LA early on in the season, let him miss a start. It's not a bad managerial decision to save this guy some mental anguish from getting his ass handed to him by the Yankees. Once again, I think total that he might have 5 innings pitched against the Yankees and given up like 7 runs. It's not good. His stats against the Yankees are not good pitching. He's hit some home runs here and there, but he's still batting around like 210 against the Yankees. So not really putting on a show, if you will. If you'll pardon the play on words. Yeah. Against the
Yankees are up 2-0 against the Angels right now. You already know that because, like we said, we're a day late and a buck short, but it's the bottom of the 4th. The Yankees are winning. That's all I care about.
Aaron Judge robbed Shohei Ohtani of a home run, little bobble that he had. It was actually a really good play. And then in the next inning, he comes up and hits a home run.
Thing of beauty.
Have you seen, by any chance, they're calling it the Volpe triple?
No.
It's very much like the Ricky Henderson triple where you walk and steal 2 bases.
Okay.
That's the Volpe triple at this point. That kid, he's not batting impressively at this moment. He's batting somewhere around 200.
Home run the other night.
He did hit his first major league home run the other day.
And
but
kudos to the fan for giving it back to him. That's a beautiful thing. If I'm sitting there catching Aaron Judge's historic home run, I'm probably not giving that ball up, considering I could buy 2 houses with that kind of money. But Volpe, you don't know if he's going to be a star or not. We think he's going to be a star. Again, biased Yankee fans. But first home run, it definitely means way more to him and something that he should have in his home. I think anybody's first home run ball, you gotta give it up. You gotta give it back.
Yeah, make the trade. It's that simple. Make the trade.
Listen, that guy definitely got hooked up with some tickets or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Why not?
At least a hug from Meredith Marakovich. I'd take that trade.
I would take that as well. Yankees right now are at the present time 10-7. Obviously missing 2 parts of their rotation with Rodon out and Severino out. Which is a big blow. They got Brito pitching and Schmidt pitching, neither one of whom would be on the roster, let alone pitching, starting games at this point of the season, or any point of the season for that matter, if the other 2 guys are injured. Rodon had a setback, some tightness in his back while pitching a bullpen today, so they're going to pay attention to that. They called up Oswald Peraza in lieu of Josh Donaldson, thank God, hitting the disabled list, or excuse me, the injured list, showing my age. Donaldson experienced tightness in his hamstring, so it looks like he'll be out for a little bit while longer. In other baseball news, Max Scherzer was ejected from the Mets game for having a foreign substance on his glove. Now,
I didn't see that. Wow. I'm out of I was all ranged out today though. Like I was just watching clips and highlights. So
apparently, Max Scherzer, whatever he did with the rosin, he applied it to his glove. And I believe it's rule 8.02 states that you're allowed to use rosin on your pitching hand and only your pitching hand. So you are not, in fact, allowed to take rosin and put it into your glove and make a nice paste inside your glove to get some tack. And that's where, that's where they caught Max Scherzer and he got thrown out. On Sunday, I believe it was, Domingo Germán had a little rosin on him, and the umpire was kind of wondering where the hell it came from. Essentially, he said, I have a rosin bag in the dugout, and I just threw it on my hand in the dugout. And the umpire on Sunday thought that was an adequate enough answer and feasible enough and let him stay in. And much to the chagrin of many Minnesota Twins fans. But guess what? You lost. Get over it. But Aaron Judge out there today, robbing home runs, stealing and hitting home runs. The Mets did beat the Dodgers, which was a good win for them. They're 12-7 as the season starts early on. In other baseball news, kind of interesting, Sonny Gray of the Minnesota Twins is pitching to like a .97 ERA.
Can't do that anywhere around this zip code.
Can't do that anywhere where somebody might be watching a game if you're Sonny Gray. Lord knows the man can't pitch in games where actually people are in attendance. Speaking of attendance, the Oakland Athletics fans have decided they're going to do a reverse blackout. They're doing a reverse boycott. A lot of people are saying that the Oakland Athletics are doing what they're doing purposefully to move and get a better stadium.
Okay.
Oakland fans are saying, "Hey, it's not us. It's not that there are no fans here. It's simply that this franchise is a loser." Mm-hmm. So that someone somewhere coordinated an event where they're going to sell out their stadium just to show Major League Baseball that they can.
Pretty sick. I mean, would that keep them from this moving the team?
It won't, not for that one game, but it might do something with Major League Baseball.
For the season, if they kept doing it for the rest of the year.
Oh, they're not going to do it. They're going to do it for like a game. Like who's going to go see that? You know what I mean? They might sell it with it, but you know what? I'm going to applaud Oakland Athletics fans doing their best to show up the Oakland Athletics and kind of make them look a little stupid with what they're trying to do. A little ridiculous on the part of the Oakland Athletics. I think that's all I have for baseball today. Obviously, big series for the Yankees against Trout and Ohtani. Always nice when those boys come into town. We'll see where it goes. Right now, the Yankees lost on Tuesday to the Angels, and they are winning on Wednesday. As we said, we are recording a day early than we normally are. Mets split with the Dodgers up to this point, and we'll see where everybody ends up in New York. I'm really interested to see what happens with that Max Scherzer suspension. He was thrown out and suspended 10 games. I think that's the big deal. That's 2 starts.
That's crazy. The 10 games. No.
I mean, I just did a Sal. Shout out to Sal from Wrestling Addicts. I did the loud exhale. You know what? Listen, I'm of the mindset always that what the rules are. They don't make up rules in the middle of the game.
Right.
Unless you're Tom Brady and you're playing in the playoffs, then they might create a rule in the middle of the game to ensure you win. Tuck rule. But generally they don't make up rules in the middle of the game. Where you're allowed to get away with stuff.
Right. And
that to a degree, another team is going to be looking for a psychological and or rule advantage. And that advantage might be something like Nestor Cortez having to color in the numbers on the back of his glove because it was white. Right. So I want to say it was the Twins complained that Nestor Cortez's glove had a white 44 on the back, the company that makes his glove, and they made him color in the white on his glove because allegedly it was distracting. I mean, right. If that throws off Nestor Cortez, which it didn't, if that throws him off, then you know what? You get an easier day that day. And if you get Max Scherzer thrown out of a game against the Mets bullpen without Edwin Diaz, hey, You put your team in a better position to win the game, and that's never a bad thing.
No, I agree. I just think I don't know. 10 games is excessive. I understand the rules are the rules. It is what it is. And going into it, you know the rules and you know what you're doing and you know the risk associated with, which is kind of crazy because the conservative in me is like, yes, max sentences, put them all away. But dude, 10 games, like I've never been suspended for more than like 2 games without actually physically hurting somebody.
Well, to be fair though, he's a starting pitcher, so 10 games is really 2 games.
Right? No, yeah.
I like how you change your tone real. Yeah, that's right. It's only 2 games, really. But we'll see if he appeals. We'll see what happens with that. Moving on. Let's go, Knicks. Let's go, Knicks. The New York Knickerbockers are in the playoffs for a change. Yep. This is wild. It reminds me of the 90s. And they are currently split.
Yeah,
right
1-1 series
with the Cleveland Cavaliers. I honestly, I hate the Cavaliers.
So do I.
I'm not a fan of anything from Cleveland, to be fair.
I'm cool with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but they don't. It's just in Cleveland. They don't rep Cleveland.
All right. What about the Drew Carey show? Was good. Technically took place in Cleveland, but it didn't. It was filmed now.
Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying, but yeah, I'm not a fan of anything Cleveland sports right now. Is that better?
No, that's that. Yeah, I mean, I can't defend that. You're good. You're
sitting here. I'm hoping we can bring back some LeBron jokes. They've been down since LeBron left town.
Dude, I mean, LeFlop, LeBron. Everybody's on to his schemes.
But Josh Hart's playing through an ankle injury, and they weren't sure if he was going to play in game 2. He did. He went out there, but it did result in the Knicks losing 107-90.
That's the only thing that concerns me with this game. I mean, it was a close game, game 1, and then the Knicks pretty much got trounced. It is what it is. They got trounced.
Yeah, so Josh Hart played with a little bit of a gimp in his ankle, and then Julius Randle takes a hard flagrant.
Yeah,
but he says he's okay. But obviously the Knicks are a young team. They're not one of those. I mean, obviously a lot of young talent, and at the same time, not that much playoff experience. Playing for the Knicks. So we'll see where that ends up with the New York Knickerbockers. It would be really something right now if we had the Knicks and the Rangers make it deep into the playoffs.
Absolutely.
This year. The Garden would definitely be bumping.
Yeah. Well, the next game 3 for the Knicks is Friday at the Garden. So,
yep.
I look forward to hearing that from our houses. I hope the Garden is just loud and boisterous, and maybe Spike Lee just pulls out some WWE moves and just hits somebody with a chair. I'm down with it.
I would love to see Spike show up to the Garden on Thursday. On Thursday for a Ranger game.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck it, I live here now.
Right. This is my house.
James Dolan owns shit. I live here now. That's my chair right there. And that's it,
Can you imagine if Spike Lee decided to try to claim squatters' rights in the Garden? It is New York City. Like, you can't evict homeless people from the sidewalk, bro. They can just set up camp in the middle of Broadway, and they're good to go. If Spike Lee decided to walk into the Garden and be like, you see this seat? This is my seat. This is my house. I'm not leaving. Somebody start up the popcorn machine. I'm fucking hungry.
He said, I'm not fucking leaving. I'm not fucking leaving.
Would that not be like the most badass thing you've ever seen?
That would be pretty cool, actually. If he would just went full Zuccotti Park on the Garden.
That'd be amazing. The only problem is then me and you would try to do it for a Rangers playoff game, and we would just get fucking tased to the bejesus and dragged out.
Totally get arrested for trespass.
They'd find the tallest fucking staircase to throw us down in the Garden, and then bring us back up in the elevator. Like, you guys all right? Oh, all right, we're back here. Right back down again.
Throw us in the alley. Like, he fell. I don't know. Like, we found him this way. There is no alley around Madison Square Garden for those of you who have never been there. There's no alley there. But we're hoping for the best for the Knicks. If you're wondering why we say, we're a New York podcast, but we don't talk about the Nets are from New Jersey. They always be. Oh, but they're Brooklyn, but they're not. As far as I'm concerned, they're the New Jersey Nets. Always will be. And I'm sorry, they moved to New York and they didn't even like capitalize on being in Brooklyn. Like black and white as your colors, the most boring shit in the world. It was almost like they went to default settings and they're just like wish themselves like at least the Knicks were New York City colors, you know?
It's almost as bad as redesigning a jersey for New Jersey and putting Jersey across the jersey.
Who did that?
That's the worst. The worst. That might be the worst thing ever. That's worse than the Gordon Fishman jerseys for the Islanders, I think. Hey, I got this crazy idea, and because I'm a Hall of Fame goaltender and I won so many cups here, you're just going to have to roll with it. Picture this, a jersey. And we're from New Jersey, everybody, right? Right? We agree? And then we're going to put Jersey across the front of it.
In case you were wondering what exactly they were wearing.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to wonder whether or not that jersey stands for New Jersey or if that jersey stands for like, hey, that's my shirt.
Right.
I guess it could have been worse. They could have wrote sweater. But I digress. In other basketball news, which is bizarre because we generally don't cover that much basketball. But you know what? It's basketball season.
It's playoffs.
The Warriors have banned cowbells for Game 3 after a Kings fan taunted the GM. You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of the Panthers outlawing opposing teams' jerseys.
You know what? That was sad. That was sad.
But I'm sorry,
or the Tampa Bay Lightning trying to ban any outside fans from coming to the playoffs last year. Like just totally pathetic and sad.
So essentially, I guess in Sacramento, the Kings fans they bang cowbells in Sacramento like for their team. Obviously, it was an away game the other day, and a fan was sitting behind the Warriors general manager and president of basketball operations, Bob Myers, and he rang that cowbell like it was his job. He was going out there going full Christopher Walken. He had a fever, and the only prescription was more cowbell. and the Warriors said, we don't want it in our arena. So cowbells will not be permitted at the Chase Center. Any fan carrying a cowbell will be directed to the outdoor bag check location where they can check their cowbell and retrieve at the conclusion of the game. Again, that just sounds like salt to me. Just straight up salt.
It is, but I think, and hear me out, it opens up a fantastic opportunity. Because if you're a visiting Kings fan, right, you have the opportunity to walk in there together as a show of solidarity and get the most annoying thing you could use to make noise in an arena, and that is the vuvuzela. Bring it back.
I was thinking vuvuzela.
Dude, let them all walk in there with you could probably Amazon 1,000 of them right now.
It's
like
plastic.
$15.
It's plastic, so you could totally do that. And who would
Can you imagine like the next, like 2 days later, like, oh, also banned is the vuvuzela. Like, and then you roll in there with the friggin' triangle. You just hit the triangle.
You know what? If you're a Sacramento Kings fan, and Kings fans, hear me out. Get yourself some cowbell on your phone. Pump it up to 1.21 gigawatts. Crank that fucker up to 11. And everybody, get as many Kings fans as you can into the Chase Center. Crank it up to 11 and just cowbell the shit out of them. We don't need a cowbell to ring a cowbell. It's 2023, baby.
I think I think the only recourse at this point, if you're not going to go with the vuvuzela and just try to annoy them in their own stadium, is to go to that GM's house and everybody at 3:00 in the morning just flash mob cowbells. Like to where neighbors are coming out, like, oh my God, is World War III finally popping off? What's going on? Should we get in the basement? And it's just everybody hammering cowbells at 3 a.m.
That would be awesome. I would pay good money for that.
And then the only recourse for that gentleman right there is to then invite everybody in for pancakes. Like, because you just lost. You take your loss in grace. You know what I mean?
That guy, yeah, honestly, I gotta say, it does remind me of the Panthers
a little bit.
Their opponent's jersey because you're salty you lost. And honestly, it's a little. Listen, I'm not sitting here saying that the damn cowbell is not obnoxious.
No, it definitely is.
It absolutely is. But you know what? Fans are obnoxious. It's it's akin to the XFL, and they're banning they stopped the beer snake.
Yeah.
The fans are having a good time. That's the point. I think people are starting to forget why we have sports. We have sports for entertainment. The only industry right now that understands that sports is supposed to be entertaining is wrestling, which is why WWE changed their name to World Wrestling Entertainment. Because the whole point, if people aren't entertained, I don't care what sport it is, if people aren't entertained, they're not going to watch. The WNBA as a perfect example. People aren't entertained watching it, therefore they don't. But it's the same sport, right? It's basketball.
It's just at a different. Nah, it's at a different level. If we're gonna, we've had this discussion before. I can sit there and watch LPGA Tour all day because it's either way. It's an elevated level of sports that I would never be able to achieve, right? And when you're a basketball fan and you watch, you want to see people flying through the air and dunking and throwing up 3-pointers from deep and putting up essentially because now it's common and now it's the thing. Especially with the lack of defense, if you're not throwing up 100 to 107, if you're not throwing up numbers like that, nobody wants to watch 38 to 31 games. Nobody.
Tell that to everybody that watches NCAA.
I mean, I don't, so I wouldn't know.
I don't either, but our buddy from Jersey loves it. It's his favorite thing in the world.
Other than showing up to Devils game in a fireman hat for some reason and his Devils jersey.
But that really
Weird.
came out of the field. I don't know where he got that fireman hat from. He's not even a fireman.
I agree. I think we just surprised him with our, detective skills.
You know what? I don't think he saw it coming at all. And it was
This is a surprise look on his face.
He got caught with his pants down. And I'm going to try to pull up the picture right now of our buddy going full Devils fan. And you never want to see it when it's one of your own, you know what I mean? It's
he tried to cop out. He tried to go with the fake news aspect. And I'm like, nah, bro, validated. It's on the internet. It's real.
And it was. I say, and if it's everybody knows if it's on the internet, then it's legit.
Absolutely.
Because it's illegal to put false things on the internet. It just you can't do it. And unfortunately,
this was on Twitter, and I'm pretty sure. I can only guess. I can only allege, but I think that Elon Musk double checked it and said it was good to go. There he is.
Yeah, there he is.
Unbelievable.
He's taking shit too.
Oh, he's having such a good time.
Oh my god,
dude! He has his phone in his hand. He's taking a selfie right now. That's why he's smiling like that.
Yeah, he is. And he's wearing that NJ proud, like real proud.
Oh, yeah.
But such is life with certain people. Moving forward.
I don't appreciate the cosplay as a fireman, but whatever.
Moving forward. I don't think I've ever heard the Go Big Blue thing before. But I love the JETS Jets. That was great. Thank you again to our producer for that awesome little flippity flip. I'm gonna call it the flippity flip. But before we start getting too much into the football, a word from our sponsor.
Underdog Fantasy is here to save your post-fantasy football season blues. The easiest place to play and win with the Underdog Fantasy app. Get up to 20 times your money in a single night with our Pick'em contests. Grab some insurance when setting your picks and win even when one pick fails. Go online now and use the promo code Scoreboard to double your deposit up to $100. Sit gingerbread, good girl.
And that is a word from our sponsor at Underdog. Next week is actually a very special time for us here at the Addicts. It's the NFL draft. Day one of the NFL draft is Thursday, April 27th. And it's a very important day for us because our whole podcast was conceived during the NFL draft in 2020. So we've been going strong since 2020. Wow. No, I'm sorry, 2021. Wow. Forgetting what year. That whole COVID year threw us all off, right?
A little bit.
But 2021, we're in a little bit of a group chat with actually 4 of us at the time. And we're out there and we're just, it's the funniest thing ever. It was like that scene in that 70s show when they're all sitting around smoking pot. I think they never really show them smoking pot. You just kind of see smoke and they're all laughing and eating. So I presume they were smoking pot all the time. But anyway, and they decide, hey, we should record this because we have the greatest ideas, but we never remember what they are. And I kind of said that in the chat, like we're calling out all of the draft moves that were to be made. We're saying like, hey, listen, this guy's going to trade his pick plus this guy to move up 3 spaces to draft that guy. And I got to be honest, it was Rook that was really doing that. That year, he locked it.
Rook was like the Mel Kiper of the group, but like not a pompous douche.
And he was actually correct, as opposed to Mel Kiper that somehow still has a job. I still can't figure that shit out.
I think the name Mel Kiper has a solid name.
It is a TV name for sure.
Yeah,
it's got that being said, so the draft is a very special time of year for us. It reminds us of where we came from and where we're going, and hopefully it's higher and deeper into the stratosphere of sports media. But the New York Jets have the number 13 pick in the NFL draft, and the New York Giants have the number 26 pick in the NFL draft. Obviously, the New York Jets do need help on multiple sides of the ball. Definitely could use some help at the safety part of the field, probably a little bit of help at linebacker. And you're looking offensive line and possibly another wide receiver. Obviously, and I know all you Jets haters are going to they still need a quarterback. We're not drafting a quarterback. It's just not going to happen.
Not happening.
All right. We're either getting Aaron Rodgers or you know what? And at this point, with some of these Packer fans that are just a little bit too extra. It's like they think that this is the most relevance they've had in years, and therefore they're really going off the walls with Twitter.
If I may interject.
Oh, please do.
That's kind of like scaring me a little bit because I feel like a whole bunch of Jet fans are now like getting in the camp like, you know what? We don't want Aaron Rodgers. I hope he cost your team $60 million to sit there and play on it with his butt. Have fun, stupid. Like, I really feel like we're going down that road of just like spitefully, screw the Packers. You know what? Their fans want to keep talking shit. Have fun. Enjoy paying him. Enjoy. I hope you enjoy New York beer prices because I guarantee you cheese-eating sons of bitches can't afford them. When you walk into that stadium and somebody goes to take a Lambeau Leap and knocks over your $17 beer, you're going to throw hands. So
yeah,
that's what scared me a little bit. I just get the deal done already. I understand they're kind of figuring out the X's and O's, and I think he is coming. But I feel like with all the shit talking coming from Green Bay, everybody's just waiting for the old spite job.
I honestly, Packer fans are in this crazy mode, that they think they're going to get a first round pick for him. They're not. It's a little ridiculous at this point, but I digress. The Jets will have their first round pick. They may not have their 2 second round picks, but they will have their first round pick this year. And it could be spent on wide receiver. It could be spent at offensive line. I don't think you're going to see a safety drafted that high. We've already made that mistake once with Jamal Adams.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's going to happen, but you might see somebody like Jackson Smith and Jigba get drafted or Paris Johnson get drafted. And we're pretty solid around the offensive side of the ball. We could use another receiver. That's it. Obviously missed out on OBJ, who signed with the Ravens. Supposedly
I don't
because
think we missed out.
Fair enough. I don't disagree. DeAndre Hopkins is still out there, however. And that could result in something very interesting because I've heard that he can go for something as low as a 4th. So that's something to be paying attention to. Yeah, I would too. I like DeAndre Hopkins a lot. He's a little pricey. He does have a injury history, but he's a solid football player. He's a smart guy. And you know what? The Jets just might be waiting till draft day to make some crazy splashes. Who knows? Aaron Rodgers could get traded on draft day simply because a player that the Packers want is on the board at the Jets time, and they feel like it won't make it to them at their pick, which is 2 picks after the Jets. And if I'm the Jets, I might just draft whoever the Packers want out of spite.
Oh yeah.
just out of spite, and that might be part of the deal. Like, hey, I kind of like how the Chargers drafted Eli Manning and then traded him to the Giants for more picks.
Right.
So that you might see something like that. A lot of people forget that Eli Manning was actually, in fact, drafted by the Chargers and then traded for Phillip Rivers and more picks. Smart move by the Chargers. Listen, Eli Manning's not the reason they won the Super Bowl. I know it hurts Giants fans to hear that, but it's facts. Speaking of the Giants, they could use some help on the offensive line to protect their quarterback. They also could definitely use some serious help at the wide receiver position. They've got nothing. They got Darren.
I was going to say they have more holes in their wide receiver than they have picks at this point. They could spend their first four picks, their first 4 rounds, on just wide receivers. It might be what they should do.
And right, they did pick up Darren Waller, and he's a very, very good tight end. But they have 10 picks in this draft, so that they can do a little something. The Giants have a little bit left and right. I haven't gone too thick into what the Giants have. I might be saving that for next week. But the Giants do have 10 picks, and they can do a lot of things with those 10 picks. What I think people aren't taking into enough consideration is the fact that teams can trade up with those excessive picks. So you're looking at, we have 10 picks, but a lot of them are like 6th and 7th rounders. They still have value. And a lot of teams are using that old fact, it's a newer mindset of picks have points, right? So like the first overall pick in the NFL draft is worth X amount of points, whatever it might be. And the value chart says that if you give me 10 7th round picks, then it equals a first round pick. I'm just spitballing numbers out there. The first pick, as far as value is concerned, is worth 3,000 points. So you really just got to look at it and look at your draft board and see what picks you got, equal 3,000, and you can have the first pick overall, or go over 3,000. His power sells over 3,000. Go over 3,000, and you can have the first pick. And the Giants can do something like that. They can get an extra second or third rounder based on the package they put together for whatever it is that they want to get. So keep that in mind, and you might be moving up. The Jets did it last year. We had 3 first-round picks last year because we traded up and we comboed picks into 3 first-round picks. And that's how they ended up getting Jermaine Johnson, Sauce Gardner, and Garrett Wilson. So in the first round, and then they traded up again to get an early second rounder in Breece Hall. All 4 picks, by the way, outstanding for the Jets last year. A tremendous draft.
Honestly, out of all the shit talking we've done as Jet fans and the crap we give the team is being mediocre at best at drafting, I think last year was if you can go into the Hall of Fame for creating that dynamic of picks equaling players that actually got out on the field and were beyond productive, top of the charts. We've never seen that in our lifetime for the Jets.
Yeah, I would say it was reminiscent of. The last time the Jets had a solid draft like that was probably 2006 when they drafted Nick Mangold into Brickashaw Ferguson.
Yes. But I think last year, with them being rookies, I think they were more productive.
Well, it's hard to see somebody productive as an offensive lineman. You kind of hope.
Impact-wise, they had definitely more of an impact right out the gate.
So it just, to me, obviously, it's going to be something along the lines of, again, offensive line. You're not going to see the.
No, I understand.
But the Giants could do something very similar to what the Jets did last year, make a package, trade up, and definitely shore up their wide receiver. Maybe get another back to feature along Saquon. Yeah. I think they could probably use a little help at corner. Probably.
They got the right guy as their coach. So, Dable is awesome. We always, give him rave reviews. So I actually look forward to seeing what comes about, because you know what? They kind of made a season out of nothing last year. I made the playoffs, and I think that's has a lot to do. Not just, obviously Saquon Barkley going off last year and being the player that they thought he was going to be. Finally, definitely earned his keep. But I think Dable is just like we talk about, Sonny Gray not being able to play in the bright lights in New York City. Dable came in and was like, no, I am New York City. Like, bow to me. I live for this pressure. I want you to throw hot dogs at me on the sidelines if I make a bad decision. Bring it on. Reminds me of Joe Swanson from Family Guy. Like, he's just sitting there like reveling in it. So, I mean, kudos to him.
I still don't think the Giants have their quarterback. I have very little faith and love or adoration for Daniel Jones. I think they're paying him way too much money. But it is what it is at this point. And honestly, the Giants are probably a little bit better off if he's not the guy this year. Next year's draft seems to have a buttload of top-tier quarterbacks, far better than this year's quality. And the Giants might be better off next year than they are this year. So either way, I think the Giants are set up pretty well. And we'll see what that brings. But that does bring the end of our show. A quick one this week. It feels like it was fast. We kind of tried to stay streamlined, but that's the end of our show. We'll catch you again next week. I'm Nick. That's TJ. We are the Scoreboard Addicts podcast. We'll catch you again next time. And maybe something a little special next time. We'll keep you posted.
Ooh.